Memento mori. Remember, you must die. It's a reality most of us avoid until someone close to us passes. Even then, our brains struggle to fully grasp it. But we always find a way to accept it, whether it's the death of someone we love or the quiet acknowledgement of our own mortality. What fascinates me most about death isn't the dying, it's what comes after, the legacy, what we leave behind, how we're remembered. It was a rainy day in Buenos Aires, one of my last days there, and I still hadn't visited the world-famous Recoleta Cemetery. When I finally walked in, no one was in there. I had the entire place to myself, and the weather matched exactly how I felt, melancholic. I sat there looking at the graves. Some were grand, recently decorated with fresh flowers. Others were crumbling, coffins almost exposed into the open air. Some belonged to entire families. Others were marked by nothing more than a small, forgotten tombstone. Most of the people buried there had real power and influence over their time, but even the grandest graves, the one with towering monuments and long family legacies, are slowly falling apart. Eventually, they'll be indistinguishable from the smallest tombs, forgotten all the same. And that's the truth, isn't it? It doesn't matter how much you've accomplished, how much money you've made, how much power you held, and how large your gravestone is. Eventually, none of it will matter. Even the greatest figures in history, the ones we still talk about today, will one day stop being mentioned in conversations or textbooks. Some people hear this and become nihilistic. If no one remembers me, why does anything matter? I think the complete opposite. Your life is yours and yours alone. No one will ever fully live in it or understand it. You only get one, and every single person's experience is entirely unique. Your timeline, your impact, your relationships, they're the real thing. But here's the thing, impact isn't about recognition. It's about living your most authentic self. And that's why I believe so strongly in doing what you actually want to do, having real control over your own life. Because on your deathbed, you don't want to look back and see a life spent lying to yourself, performing for others, or chasing a fancy tombstone. If people like you for who you are, great, but honestly, the people who live the best lives are often the ones who go completely unnoticed. The real people rarely end up being the most popular, recognized, or remembered. Something else struck me as I walked through the cemetery. Jesus was everywhere. Stained glass windows, the Chi Rho symbol, cross after cross. It made me think, Jesus had no grand tomb. No monument built in his honor. He was buried in a burrowed prisoner's grave and being executed as a criminal. Most people in his community thought he was a heretic, and they were relieved when he was gone. Thousands of years later, he's the most recognized figure in human history. But nothing he did was for recognition. Everything was selfless. I'd rather live a life like that, quietly, genuinely, and without a thought for legacy, than live a hollow life and be remembered as someone great. And even if you were remembered, would it be accurate? The people closest to you might capture who you were with some degree of truth, but as generations pass, you'd fade into a rough idea of a person, a story shaped by others. Being immortalized after death is overrated. We all crave importance even beyond the grave, but maybe we shouldn't be thinking that far ahead. Live life in the moment. Give everything to what's right in front of you. Become who you actually want to be. And when it's all said and done, be content. But maybe if you're lucky, if you meet the right people and build the right relationships, you'll leave behind something that actually means something. Not a monument, not a reputation, but a real, authentic legacy built on friendship, families, shared values, and what you stand for. Real relationship built on trust, being the backbone for the people around you and who needs you the most. The kind of legacy that only works if you never expect anything in return and never need it to be recognized. And the best place to start? Look closer to home than you think. Spend time with your older family members. Seriously, they're lonelier than you think. Pay respect to your lineage, to the relatives who came before you. Try to learn who they actually were, what they did, what they believed in, what they loved, what frustrated them. I recently learned about my great-grandfather, and it completely fascinated me. It's surprising how many people know nothing about their own parents' lives, let alone the generations that came before them. I think that's almost by design. We live so fast, so forward-facing, that we forget that we're standing on the shoulders of everyone who came before us. Every single one of us exists because a long chain of lives, decisions, sacrifices, and stories, for better or for worse, that history shaped you. To ignore it is a disrespect to everyone who ever lived, every person who struggled, built something, lost something, loved someone, so that eventually you could be here. I've always found it so strange when someone tells me they have no interest in history, because history isn't just dates, events, it's the story of how you ended up here. Rejecting that is rejecting yourself. Dive into it. You might find yourself